Whiskerwood was a happy place. Nestled deep within the heart of an ancient forest, it was a village unlike any other. The trees stood tall and proud, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. The air was always filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the gentle hum of nature. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, and every day felt like a new adventure waiting to unfold. Cats lived among the trees. They loved their village. The cats of Whiskerwood were not just ordinary cats, they were special. They had a deep connection with the forest, and it was said that they could communicate with the trees and the animals that lived there. They spent their days exploring the woods, chasing butterflies and basking in the warm sunlight. Every cat had a favorite spot in the village, a place where they felt most at home. Each cat wore a special bell. These bells were not just for decoration, they were a symbol of their bond with the forest. Each bell had a unique chime, a melody that resonated with the magic of Whiskerwood. When the cats moved, the bells would tinkle softly, creating a symphony that echoed through the trees. It was a sound that brought comfort and joy to everyone who heard it. It chimed with the magic of the forest. The bells were enchanted, and their music had the power to heal and protect. Whenever a cat was in trouble, the sound of the bells would guide them back to safety. The forest itself seemed to come alive with the music, its leaves shimmering with a soft golden light. It was a place of wonder and enchantment, where anything was possible. Milo was a bright orange cat. He was always cheerful. With his sunny disposition and infectious laughter, he was the heart and soul of Whiskerwood. Everyone loved Milo for his kind heart and playful nature. He had a way of making even the gloomiest day feel bright and full of promise. But there was one thing that set Milo apart from the other cats. But Milo was also clumsy. Despite his best efforts, he always seemed to find himself in awkward situations. Whether it was tripping over his own paws or knocking over a stack of freshly picked flowers, Milo's clumsiness was legendary. But he never let it get him down. He would simply laugh it off and try again, his spirit unbroken. He often tripped over his own paws. It was almost as if his feet had a mind of their own, leading him into one mishap after another. But Milo's friends were always there to help him up and dust him off. They admired his resilience and his ability to find humor in every situation. To them, Milo's clumsiness was just another part of his charm.
One sunny morning, Milo was getting ready for the daily fish delivery. It was a task he took very seriously, despite his tendency to stumble. The fish market was bustling with activity, and the air was filled with the salty scent of the sea. Milo carefully balanced a basket of fresh fish on his back, determined to make it to the village square without any accidents. He tripped over a milk pail. In his haste, he hadn't noticed the pail sitting in his path. With a startled yelp, Milo went tumbling head over paws, the basket of fish flying through the air. He landed in a heap, the milk pail clattering to the ground beside him. For a moment there was silence as everyone took in the scene. The pail went flying, spilling milk everywhere. The white liquid splashed across the cobblestones, creating a slippery mess. Milo sat up, his fur dripping with milk, and looked around in dismay. The fish were scattered all over the street, and the villagers were staring at him with wide eyes. He felt a flush of embarrassment creeping up his cheeks.
The other cats chuckled. They couldn't help but laugh at the sight of Milo covered in milk, his whiskers twitching in confusion. It was a scene they had witnessed many times before, and it never failed to amuse them. But their laughter was filled with affection, not mockery. They loved Milo for who he was, clumsiness and all.
"Oh, Milo," they sighed. They gathered around him, helping him to his feet and picking up the scattered fish. "You really are something else," one of them said with a smile, "but we wouldn't have you any other way." Milo managed a sheepish grin, grateful for their support. He knew he was lucky to have such wonderful friends.
Milo blushed. He felt a mix of embarrassment and gratitude. He knew he was often the source of amusement, but he also knew that his friends cared for him deeply. They accepted him for who he was, and that meant the world to him. Still, there was a part of him that wished he could be more graceful, more like the other cats. He was used to being the silly one. It was a role he had embraced over the years, finding joy in making others laugh. But sometimes, he longed to be taken seriously, to be seen as more than just the clumsy cat of Whiskerwood. He wanted to prove that he could be brave and helpful, just like the others. but he still wished he could be brave and helpful. He dreamed of the day when he could show everyone that he was capable of more. He wanted to be a hero, to do something that would make his friends proud. And though he didn't know it yet, that day was closer than he could have ever imagined. Little did he know, his chance was coming. The forest had a way of surprising its inhabitants, and Milo was about to embark on an adventure that would change his life forever. The magic of Whiskerwood was about to reveal itself in ways he had never dreamed of, and Milo would soon discover that even the clumsiest of cats could become a hero. That night, something strange happened. The great bell fell silent. This bell was huge and magical. It hung in the center of the village, its chimes protecting Whiskerwood from harm. The cats woke up to a strange quiet. Where was the great bell's gentle song? Panic spread through the village. Without the bell, danger could find them.
The village elder, a wise old cat named Willow, called everyone together. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "The great bell is gone, stolen. We must find it, or Whiskerwood will be in danger."
Milo felt a shiver run down his spine. The great bell gone? He looked around at the scared faces of his friends and family. He had to do something. An idea sparked in his heart. Maybe, just maybe, he could find the great bell. It was a crazy idea. He was just clumsy Milo, but the thought wouldn't leave his mind.
Milo puffed out his chest and announced to anyone who could hear, "I will find the great bell and bring it back to Whiskerwood."
The other cats exchanged amused glances. Nobody believed he could do it, but Milo was determined. Milo knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed help. The task ahead was daunting, and the stakes were high. The great bell of Whiskerwood had been lost for generations, and its return was said to bring prosperity and peace to the entire forest. Milo, a determined and brave young cat, felt the weight of this responsibility on his shoulders. He had heard the legends from the elders, and he knew that finding the bell would not only prove his worth, but also unite the community in a way that had never been seen before. He first went to Luna, a sleek grey cat. Luna was known throughout Whiskerwood for her wisdom and keen senses. She had a reputation for being able to solve the most complex problems and navigate the trickiest terrains. Milo knew that if anyone could help him on this quest, it would be Luna. Luna was very serious and incredibly smart. Her eyes, a piercing shade of green, seemed to see right through to the heart of any matter. She had an air of mystery about her, and many in the forest sought her advice on various issues. Milo approached her with a mix of respect and hope. She was also the best tracker in Whiskerwood. Her skills in tracking were unmatched, and she could follow a trail that was days old as if it had just been made. This ability had earned her the nickname Shadow Paws among the forest dwellers. Milo knew that with Luna by his side, they would have a much better chance of finding the elusive Great Bell.
"Luna, will you help me find the great bell?" Milo asked, his voice filled with determination and a hint of desperation. He knew that convincing Luna was crucial to the success of his mission.
Luna raised an eyebrow but saw the determined glint in Milo's eyes. She decided to trust him. She had always admired Milo's courage and tenacity, and she knew that this quest was important not just for him but for the entire forest. With a nod, she agreed to join him, and Milo felt a surge of relief and gratitude. Next, Milo dashed off to find Twitch, a little black kitten with boundless energy. Twitch was known for his playful nature and his ability to get into and out of tight spots with ease. He was always exploring, always on the move, and his energy was infectious. Milo knew that Twitch's knowledge of the forest's hidden paths and secret tunnels would be invaluable. Twitch knew every nook and cranny of Whiskerwood, including all the secret tunnels. His curiosity had led him to discover places that even the oldest animals in the forest didn't know about. Milo found Twitch near a cluster of trees, his eyes wide with excitement as he chased a butterfly. Milo couldn't help but smile at the sight.
"Twitch, we're going on an adventure to find the great bell. Are you in?" Milo asked, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. He knew that Twitch's adventurous spirit would make him eager to join the quest.
Yes, let's go! Twitch exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. He bounced on his paws, ready to embark on the adventure. With Luna and Twitch by his side, Milo felt more confident than ever. The team was coming together, and the quest for the Great Bell was about to begin.
And so began their adventure. Their first stop was the Whispering Woods. The wind rustled through the leaves, sounding like whispers. Legend said the trees held ancient secrets. Luna, with her sharp eyes, noticed strange markings on the forest floor.
Paw prints, big ones. Someone strong took the Great Bell.
The trail led them to the Cliff of Courage. It was a steep climb and Milo felt afraid. But he remembered his mission. He had to be brave. With Twitch's help, they found a hidden entrance in the cliff face. The entrance was almost invisible, covered by thick vines and moss. It was a small opening, just big enough for the children to squeeze through. They hesitated for a moment, exchanging nervous glances, but their curiosity got the better of them. One by one, they crawled into the darkness with Twitch leading the way. It led to a network of tunnels. The air inside was cool and damp, and the walls were lined with strange, glowing fungi that cast an eerie light. The tunnels twisted and turned, creating a labyrinth that seemed to go on forever. The children could hear the distant sound of dripping water echoing through the passages. These tunnels were dark and mysterious. Shadows danced on the walls, and the children felt as if they were being watched. Every now and then, they would catch glimpses of movement out of the corner of their eyes. But when they turned to look, there was nothing there. The atmosphere was thick with tension, and their footsteps echoed loudly in the silence. Milo clung to Luna's side, his heart pounding. He could feel the dog's steady presence giving him courage. Luna's ears were perked up, alert to any danger. Milo whispered to her, "Stay close, girl. We'll get through this together." The bond between them was unbreakable, and it gave Milo the strength to keep moving forward. They finally reached a large underground chamber. The ceiling was high, and the walls were covered in ancient carvings and symbols. It was a place of great significance, and the children could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. In the center of the chamber was a stone pedestal, and on it sat an enormous owl. In the center sat an enormous owl surrounded by stacks of books. The owl's feathers were a deep, rich brown, and its eyes were wise and knowing. It seemed to be waiting for them, as if it had been expecting their arrival. The children approached cautiously, unsure of what to expect. It was Athena, the keeper of stories. She was a legendary figure, known for her vast knowledge and wisdom. The children had heard tales of her, but they never imagined they would meet her in person. Athena's presence was both comforting and intimidating, and they felt a sense of awe as they stood before her.
The bell? Can you tell us where it is? The question hung in the air, and the children held their breath, waiting for Athena's response. They had come so far, and they were desperate for answers. The bell was the key to their quest, and they needed to find it.
The bell is not lost, but hidden. Athena's voice was calm and measured, and her words carried a sense of mystery. The children exchanged puzzled looks, trying to make sense of what she had said. If the bell was hidden, then they would have to find it. But where could it be? To find it, you must solve my riddle. What has a voice but cannot speak? A bed but never sleeps, a mouth but cannot eat. The riddle was a challenge, and the children knew that solving it was the key to finding the bell. They repeated the words to themselves, trying to unlock the meaning hidden within.
Milo thought long and hard. He closed his eyes and let the words of the riddle swirl around in his mind. He pictured each clue, trying to connect them to something he knew. The answer was just out of reach, but he could feel it getting closer.
A river! Milo's eyes snapped open, and he shouted the answer with excitement. It all made sense now. A river has a voice, a bed, and a mouth, just like the riddle described. The children looked at each other with renewed hope. They were one step closer to finding the bell.
Athena nodded approvingly. Her eyes sparkled with pride, and she gave a small, satisfied smile. "Well done," she said. "You have proven yourselves worthy of the quest. The river will guide you to the bell, but be cautious. The journey is not over yet, and there are still challenges ahead."
The river will lead you to the bell. Athena's words echoed in their minds as they prepared to set off once more. They knew the path would be difficult, but they were determined to see their quest through to the end. With Luna by their side and the guidance of Athena, They felt ready to face whatever lay ahead.